and happy Tuesday. We have some exciting news. One of the houses that we toured last week, we are under contract on, and that is the 2-story red colonial, which was my favorite house. And so we're really excited to be under contract on that, but we kind of have some due diligence to do now. We're having a structural engineer out today to kind of look at a couple cracks that are in the foundation. They could be no big deal, but they also could be a big deal. And so that is the only thing that our offer is contingent on is we have a 7-day inspection period. We can't ask for anything. So if it's going to cost a lot of money, we can't ask them to fix it. We could withdraw our offer and walk away. We could resubmit a new offer. But that's kind of where things stand there. So after we meet the structural engineer, then we're going to meet our contractor there and our agent to kind of talk through a couple of things as far as some comps go in the area, like to get our top ARV that we are aiming for. What are some things that we need to be doing to the property? So the first thing that we're going to be working through is the kitchen. The kitchen is small. It's a colonial, so kind of it's divided up, if you will, like the house into 4 different squares. It's probably not going to be in the budget to open up the kitchen. And so we want to explore a couple different options of how to maximize our space in there. The second biggest thing that our comps have are laundries on the main level. Our laundry is currently in the basement. And so we kind of have 2 different ideas of where the laundry could go. One would be upstairs in the master, where we're also toying with the idea of eliminating the dining room on the main level and adding like a mudroom, laundry walk-in, and a pantry. So first, I'm going to spend the morning at my desk kind of workshopping those options, running some numbers, and trying to get our general scope laid out so our contractor can quote us as best as possible. Then we're going to go meet at the property and kind of see how it all shakes out. And now is our opportunity to see if this deal really can work and where our numbers are at. And if not, we still technically have an opportunity to back out with the foundation and the inspection contingency that we have. Obviously, we don't want to back out. Really love this house. Really fits my overall style and love for design. This is a beautiful colonial, and so I would love to bring it back to life, but if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. So let's go get to work. Okay, so I am toying around with our kitchen layout, and why is this important this early on in the stage? So we can get our scope of work, so we know what trades need to be doing what in the kitchen, and we can get some really hard bids. So I don't need to know yet what drawer is going where, what's, a bank of drawers versus cabinets. I'm just trying to figure out how I want my overall space planning of the kitchen to go, because if we're moving the fridge, the sink, too much electrical, that affects my trades. And so that's all pricing that I need to know right now.
Okay, so as you can see here, this is the floor plan as the house currently is. This is a load-bearing wall right here, and because it's a 2-story, even if we were to take this wall down, there would still be a 12-inch header from the ceiling down a little bit, and so this is never gonna feel completely open even if we open this up. We could turn the kitchen and try to run it this way and just have one huge kitchen, but again, you're gonna have a header here right in the middle of what you're trying to accomplish by opening it up. We also don't really have room in our budget to open this up. It's probably gonna cost about $7,000 to open it up, and that's just for permitting, the work to be done, the architect to draw the plans, and so it's just, I don't know that we're gonna get our money back out of it to do that. So here's how the kitchen currently is laid out. We've got the stove right here between 2 windows, and we've got the sink over here. This is a plumbing wall lining up with the bathroom. So we would like to keep that. I'll show you pictures of how the kitchen looks. So pretty small. Here's our layout. So with that being said, here's kind of my options that I'm toying between. The most cost-effective thing to do would be to not move any of the major mechanicals. So I'm gonna move this, kind of focus on my screen up here, my 3D. To not move the major mechanicals would be to keep the fridge here, keep the range here, keep the sink here. What are my biggest issues with that? Well, your sink is facing a wall, not out a window. Your cabinetry space is pretty limited. This is a pantry that we are planning to keep as of now, 1 for storage, 2 for cost restraints. The more things you open up, the more things you have to patch. And so we're toying with the idea of keeping all the mechanicals the same. However, your storage, it's pretty lacking. The only upper cabinet space you have is here on either side of the sink. This is the hood cabinet, and then you have above your fridge. Now, this does allow seating in your kitchen, which I do like. This is a 6-foot island. You'd be able to fit 3 to 4 bar stools very comfortably. If that's important to someone, we want to try to get seating in there. However, there is a dining room. I'm going to point back over here, right here. So that's why I don't know if I necessarily feel like we need to have seating in there. So then I came up with this scenario, and this requires to move, turn back over here, to move some of the major mechanicals. I wanted to get my sink overlooking out a window. I think that is important and nice for washing dishes. I think that the range would look nice on this wall, kind of centered over here. And then your fridge over here on this wall. I guess this is what you would call a galley kitchen. And so it's not an eat-in kitchen. There's no space to sit and eat in this kitchen. Is that necessary when you have your dining room right here off the kitchen? Oops, you can't even see. Right here off the kitchen. It depends on the buyer. It depends on if it's a family. I have a young child. I need somewhere for him to sit in the kitchen while I'm cooking and prepping and he's eating. So while I think that this might be the best use of the space, maybe storage wise, I still think that we somehow need to get some seats. So then I came up with this scenario, which is kind of a mix, I guess, if you will. Fridge is staying in the same location, range in the same location, and sink in the same location. What's different about this design is I made the island much smaller, as in the depth. I have overhang on this side. You could fit 2 chairs comfortably there, or 2 bar stools. You could fit a third if it's small children. And then in this scenario, you could get a wall of floor to ceiling cabinets. Now they're only 12 inches deep, but it's still some form of storage. So you can have, I guess, pantry storage if you need. You might not need as much if you've got this here, but you can fit appliances, you can fit cups, plates, kind of whatever you need. So between all of the kitchen options, this is kind of the one I am leaning between. But like I said, I'd like to get my contractor's opinion and my realtor's opinion. Second thing that I'm really trying to work through and think through is getting laundry either on the main level or upstairs in the master bathroom. Having your laundry in your master, is that ideal? Would it be nice to just have it out in the hall area? Well, there's not room in the hall area, so really the only option upstairs where the bedrooms are is in the master. The other thought is, can we get it on the main floor? Well, in order to get the laundry on the main floor, we would need to eliminate the dining room, which this house has plenty of other seating. A lot of times families don't even use dining rooms anymore, especially if it's an eat-in kitchen. So we're toying with, do you get rid of the dining room and add a mudroom, laundry room on the main level with some pantry? In that scenario, I think it is crucial that you have seating in your kitchen. There's enough, let me see if I can get the floor plan to show here. There's a living room here, and another screened-in porch sunroom that does have HVAC to it. So do you need 3 sitting areas back to back to back?
So this is the dining room here. This is what we would potentially turn into laundry, pantry. Let me switch my camera around so you can see better.
This is that area that we were talking about potentially making the laundry mudroom / pantry. My biggest grievance with this is there's no entry from your garage into this area. And so you still have to come all the way through your kitchen before you could come to your mudroom, laundry room. Is that inconvenient? Is that weird? I guess if we don't move the laundry on the main level at all, you're still in the same scenario. I wanted to eliminate this door here and add a door down in here. It was going to cost too much. I just didn't think that it was worth it. So kind of scratched that idea. So anyway, our thoughts are if we turned this into laundry pantry, like a walk-in butler's pantry, is this too far to have a formal dining room? Then you can have your family room. Then you'd still have another seating area here. They're all good options, I feel, but it just really depends on your end buyer and your end family that ends up moving in here. The second option for the laundry is upstairs in the master. So the primary bedroom is a great size. It already has a great size closet. Here's the bathroom, which is a lot of space. It's just not being used to the best of its ability. So my thought was, and let me see if I can draw on here. Yes, I can. Maybe. If I make it red, can we see? My thought, keep this. This would all stay the same. Get a double vanity here. Keep your toilet here. Turn your shower. You would eliminate this wall here. And so whatever distance you need between your vanity and your shower, that's what you would make your shower. But your walk-in shower goes here, and then your washer dryer hookup would go in here. And there's already nice hardwood floors up here, and so right here would actually make a really good spot to transition from the hardwood floors, and then the remainder of this could all be tile. So that is our other option. It's probably our cheapest option as far as getting laundry up on the main floor. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what we are toying with. I'm curious to hear everybody else's thoughts.
Headed to Chesterfield to go meet with the structural engineer, contractor, and agent, and just really hoping that the foundation is good and it's good news and we can keep going forward designing, and if not, back to the drawing board. Oh, we are back from meeting the structural engineer and our contractor and our realtors at the property and feeling defeated. We are going to walk away from the deal because it's not a deal. There was some structural issues, things that can be fixed for $12,000 to $15,000. And where they're at, we weren't planning on even finishing that part of the basement. And so you still have to disclose that there's structural issues, but sometimes when you can't see it, it's not as scarier to buyers. But if buyers can see it, they're not even going to consider your property. So for that reason, we are most likely going to back out, along with just some other things that were making this deal too tight. So kind of sad that we spent our wheels on this. I really love this neighborhood, really loved this house, but with the structural issues, and just a couple other things, like the numbers don't work. And so yeah, moving on to the next one. We're gonna keep looking, not gonna give up, and yeah, stay tuned.